On a faraway mountaintop, 8 teenage gorillas with guns watch over a hostage and a conscripted milk cow. Playing games and initiating cult-like rituals, the children run amok in the jungle and disaster strikes when the hostage tries to escape. Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Movie Files. Elliot here today with my series, Movies That I Missed, which are essentially films that I didn't get a chance to see at the theater. They could be hidden gems, they can be genre films, horror films, comedies, big budget films, and I'm going to let you all know what I thought about the film, and if you missed it like I did, I'm going to let you know if it's worth checking out. Today we're talking about Manos, a film I went into completely cold, and I'm excited that I did that, and I'm really excited to let you all know what I thought about this film in this non-spoiler review. Before we dive into it, as you can see on the screen now, make sure you're following me on all my other social media accounts. If you're new to this channel, definitely consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my new content. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Really helps out the channel, but also really appreciate it. And if and when you've seen this film, I want to know what you all thought about it. The performances, the story. Were you floored by the cinematography? Let me know all your pros and cons in the comments below, and let's have some fun discussions down there. So like I said, I went into this without reading a synopsis, without seeing a trailer. The reason I knew about the movie is, again, follow me on Instagram. I have a lot of great content on there, but I follow a lot of pages that talk about movies, talk about shows, but in particularly when it comes to movies, I follow a lot of pages that appreciate good cinematography. And there's one thing that I consistently kept hearing about this film, Manos, which is how gorgeous this film was. So that was kind of my entry point into the film, and I saw that it was on Hulu a couple weeks ago, and I definitely put it on my playlist. So starting off with the positives, without spoilers, again, I want to be as vague as possible because, again, I think this is one of those films, again, like I did with The Art of Self-Defense. I did the same thing with The Color Out of Space. I went into those movies cold, and some films is good to kind of watch a trailer because you're just like, oh man, this is a mess, or whatever the case may be. And we all know that trailers can kind of either help a film or hurt a film. But with this particular series, I'm trying to go into these movies without knowing much about it because I've heard some things about it, obviously, and that's what piqued my interest. So I'm going to try to be as vague as possible with character descriptions, story breakdowns. I'm just going to be, highlighting things, like starting off with the positives. One of the things that I can agree with people that I saw on Instagram, this is easily one of the most amazing looking films that I've seen in a very long time. The film does have type of similarities in regards to where I will say this film kind of reminded me of, and it has its own flavor and its own style, but it does have its kind of Apocalypse Now meets Lord of Flies, and there's been different interpretations and adaptations of that book into film and TV shows, meets kind of Beasts of No Nation. There's definitely those type of vibes in this film, but this film does stand on its own, and it has its own story to tell and its own characters to display to the audience. And the story that we're on, again, without breaking it down, you're introduced to this group of teenagers that kind of range from different age groups. They are, brought up in a particular environment. They're soldiers to an extent. They're led by a particular leader. They have their ways about them. They're kind of cult-like initiations that they go through. They have their, thoughts and beliefs and how they handle things. And you're just watching these kids make certain decisions, tough decisions. They're having fun at times. They're a family. There's some camaraderie, there's some trust there, but as the film kind of unfolds, this one strong family kind of does some things. They're on this particular journey. They have this hostage with them that kind of presents a struggle for them, or presents somewhat of an issue for them, and you're seeing this family kind of break down to a certain extent. And that's just probably as far as I'll go into the story. Going back to the cinematography, this is my first time being exposed to a Alejandro Landes film. And after this film, this is a director that I will definitely be keeping an eye out for when it comes to whenever I see his name attached to a project, I'm going to be interested, because Alejandro and his cinematographer, who I don't want to forget to leave out, Jasper Wolf, they do such a great job of creating this atmosphere, regardless of how you feel about the story and the characters and everything that unfolds in the movie. There's one thing that I think you will agree with me when it comes to the atmosphere, the tension created, the look, the feel, the score of this film, the little details, and this might be a little bit of a spoiler, but for those that have seen the film, when the little hand signals that kind of reminisce their communication thing. It's just little details within this film that I was just so impressed with. Going back to the cinematographer, Jasper Wolf, the first half of this film, if there were any criticisms that I may have, it takes a little bit, 15, 20 minutes or so, but before you start to get a little bit of the story. Within those first 15, 20 minutes, you're just put into this mountaintop, and you see how these kids are, how their daily routine is, how they communicate with their commander, how they communicate with one another, how they have, there's certain teenagers and there are certain age groups, so they have some tension built into them. They have this type of ritual against them, and you're just watching this kind of story unfold. So the first 20 minutes or so are a little bit slower in pacing and not as much storytelling being told, but you're getting to know these characters and what they're about. And as this movie kind of goes through, again, Alexandro and Jasper, they're taking you on this journey, and you're in these different environments. In this film, I think of The Revenant. I think of films like Castaway, where I just think of, like, if I was these actors, I would have been so, like, scared for my life to be on this set, because I have to buy this movie, and I hope that the movie has behind the scenes, because I have to know how they film some of these scenes. This has to be the most, like, tough type of movie that I watch in regards to these characters go through so much. They're in the jungle, there's bugs, there's water. There's this one scene, I think of 1917 from last year, where our character's going in the river and the water. There's a particular scene similar to that in this film, but it didn't look like it was CGI. It didn't look like it was any stunt doubles. It looked like it was the actual actors going through this scene. And it's just moments like that where I'm just absolutely floored by how they shot this movie, how the film looked. Again, there's certain sweeping shots, the landscape, the texture, the jungle-like environment. The film does such a great job of creating tension. You're on this journey with the characters, and I felt like I was in the jungle with these characters. I feel like I was under the water. I was getting bitten by mosquitoes. I mean, this film does such a great job of creating an experience. And this is what film is about. Not only is it about the characters and the story and the cinematography and the score and the direction, but it's about, does it invoke a feeling out of you when you're watching this film? And this film definitely invoked tension. I was scared for our characters at moments. We're following these particular characters. We have one of the few people that I was familiar with in this film, Julianne Nicholson as Delora, who is the hostage in this situation. You feel for her and her journey and what she's going through and her ups and downs. But again, from the leading actors and actresses in this movie to everyone attached to this film, did such a great job of putting together what I consider a masterful film. This film to me has very little flaws. Like I said, outside of those first 15, 20 minutes or so, when you're kind of, again, introducing the situation, introducing the characters, their day-to-day life, but you're still engrossed in this environment, in this atmosphere. And as the film kind of picks up and you figure out what's going on and you see their situation and how things kind of unfold with the hostage and everything there, you're just on a journey. And I was invested in this film from the beginning all the way to the end. I can't recommend this enough, guys. Again, I urge of you to stay away from the synopsis, because the synopsis doesn't give away too much, but definitely stay away from the trailer, because without me knowing the things that I knew, it just created a better type of experience, because I didn't know where the story was going. Again, when you look at the film at surface value, at face value, just like, oh, okay, this is just, they're in this situation. Oh, we were rooting for this particular character. You think that these kids have a certain way about them, but as the movie unfolds, they kind of turn on each other. And it's just, I don't want to say there's twists and turns, but there's definitely layers to this film in regards to the pacing, to the characters, to the story. I think about our characters without giving too much away. Bigfoot, I think about his relationship and the power dynamic between Bigfoot, Wolf, and their main leader. I think about Lady. I think about, Dog, Boom Boom, and Rambo. It's just so many, and those are the names of our main characters, by the way. I just think about their journeys and the power dynamic and the shift in power throughout this film. There's just so much going on that I really appreciate it. But again, regardless of what you think about the story, think about the characters, this is one of the best looking films I've ever seen in regards to just, again, the tension, the cinematography, the atmospheric, the emotion that this film evokes. It does such a great job. And to me, that what makes this film a masterpiece. Again, I know that word gets thrown around, but from a technical standpoint, this film is flawless in my personal opinion. So with that being said, guys, I'm giving this film, I haven't given this out in a very long time, but I'm giving Manos a 5 out of 5. This movie is available to stream on Hulu. I believe you can rent it and buy it from other streaming platforms, but if you do have Hulu, watch this movie. Again, do not watch a trailer. That's why I didn't put a trailer at the beginning of my video here like I normally do, go into this cold, and if you have similar taste to me, I think you'll be pretty pleased with this film if you haven't seen it like I have. And I'm going to buy this film pretty soon, guys. That's how amazing this film was in my personal opinion. So again, Mono's 5 out of 5. Give it a watch, and when you do, let me know what you all thought of it. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm pre-recording this video, so I would imagine by the time this video comes out, because I like to do these reviews Wednesday and Thursday, I'm going to have a watch along this Friday for the 5-year anniversary for Mad Max Fury Road. I will be doing a joint watch along for Talking TV podcast for Rogue One. I should have some other content on my channel by now, and there's some things coming out on Netflix this Friday, so keep an eye out for those videos. Again, I'm having such a fun time doing this series, movies that I missed. I do have a laundry list of other films that I will be reviewing on this channel, but as I encourage you all, check out my playlist for 2019 movies that I reviewed. If you see movies that I didn't get a chance to see, definitely recommend them in the comments for I can add it to this series. Thank you guys again for the continued support, and we'll see you on the next video.